What's going on, American truckers? Talk to y'all about some of the dedicated, excuse me, and regional fleets that Crete has. Me personally, I'm an OTR driver. I like going everywhere. Some guys prefer to be home more often. Some guys and girls prefer to be home more often. Some like a regular route where they know exactly what they're doing every day. They get to know the customers. You know, they may live in that area, so they're getting home more often. You know, there's many different reasons drivers choose different types of freight. So I figured I'd put it out there, you know, so if someone is interested in it, they know the options there at Crete Carriers or Shaffer Trucking. Obviously, Crete has 3 divisions: dry box, reefer, and flatbed. Crete Carriers is the dry box, Shaffer is the reefer, and flatbed is Hunt. Hunt Transportation. Flatbed is the maroon trucks. Shaffer, most of the time they're in blue trucks, sometimes they're in red trucks, but most of the time it's blue. Crete, most of the time it's red. Unless they're out of red trucks, they'll give you a blue one. I don't really like the blue trucks. To me, they're ugly. They're like a light blue color. I wish they were a darker blue, then it'd be a better, I think it would be a better looking truck. Anyway, let's hop right into these fleets. Now, these are not all the fleets that Crete has. These are just that I am aware of, that I know of. And I'll tell you a little bit about each one of them. All right, let's start with the Walmart fleets. Crete has a Walmart in Mankato, Minnesota. They have a dedicated fleet out of there. It's good for a person if you live in Minnesota, western Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Iowa. It'd be a good place for you to be. You'd probably get home pretty often if you live in any of those areas. So they service the Walmarts in that general area. North Platte, Nebraska, they have a Walmart there. I'm not sure exactly what all area that one covers. I've never covered a driver on that fleet. I believe they cover as far east as Cedar Rapids. I'm not sure how far west they go because there is a Walmart distribution center in Cheyenne, Wyoming. They probably drop they probably drop down into northern Oklahoma. But if you live in that general vicinity, you figure 300 miles of North Platte, you'll probably get home pretty often. If you live near a Walmart, you're probably going to deliver at that Walmart. We also have the Walmart in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We have that distribution center there. I know they service Denver, Colorado, Northern Rockies, and they service Wyoming, obviously. Probably eastern Nebraska, over as far as maybe Sydney, right around in there. So if you live in that area, obviously that one would probably fit you. Now, let me think. Excuse me, I just finished smoking, so coughing my lungs up. Now we got a Walmart in Paws Valley, Oklahoma. That's southern Oklahoma. I have no idea how far down into Texas they come. Probably not very far, because there is a Sanger, I think Sanger, Texas. There's a Walmart distribution center there, so they probably don't come down into Texas very far. Probably cover most of Oklahoma, maybe the panhandle of Texas, and part of Arkansas. So just for, if you live within probably 200 miles, 300 miles of that distribution center there in Paws Valley, Oklahoma, that might be a good fit for you. Now to some of the dedicated fleets we have. We have Kellogg dedicated, and we have Kimberly-Clark dedicated. I'm gonna put both those fleets together, and here's why. Both of those fleets, you run like a screaming banshee. You're running on your 10 hours, you're gonna take a straight 10-hour break and you're gonna roll. They get a lot of miles, They don't mess around. They got a lot of freight. They push it hard. They're going to push truck hard. Normally on those fleets, you're dispatched out for the week. You know what you're doing all week long. I have no idea what area they cover. Obviously, Kimberly-Clark and Kellogg deliver products all over the United States, so you could go anywhere. But I've heard some guys work it out where they work those fleets and they only work around where they live. You'd have to talk to recruiting. I have no idea how in detail that goes. There's also Georgia Pacific fleet. Georgia Pacific. Now I know we pick up Georgia Pacific down in the Carolinas and parts of Georgia, maybe, and Alabama, Mississippi. But as far as I know, the dedicated guys that run Georgia Pacific, they are dispatched out of the Indianapolis terminal, and most of them run the states that touch Indiana, and that's it. They stay right there in that area, Midwest, East Midwest. Obviously, I'm sure at some point in time they reach out, because I picked up Georgia Pacific loads in North and South Carolina, so I'm sure they got drivers servicing those areas as well. But if you live Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Alabama, Mississippi, North Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia Pacific might be a good fleet for you. You might get home pretty regularly. That's something you'd have to discuss with them. I don't know exactly how often those guys get home. Now, here's the regional fleets that I know of, that I'm aware of. Oh, and one more dedicated fleet. You got Mars Pet Care. I know there's one in Waco. I picked up there quite a bit, but and there's one up near Cincinnati, Ohio. That's all they run is Mars Pet Care. Dedicated fleet that's dedicated to that. If you live near one of those, or you like running a regular route, that might be a good fit for you. All right, now the regional fleets. There's a Mid-South Regional. Mid-South Regional runs Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado, Missouri. Don't think they get any farther north than Missouri. I think I-70 or maybe 80. I-80 might be their cutoff. So, and as far east as probably Illinois. They don't run a very big area. Basically a square. They call it Mid and South. So it's Midwest and the South. Then we got a Southeast Regional fleet. They run Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana maybe. And we got a Northeast Regional fleet. They run the Northeast. Basically I-81 East, more than likely. We have a West Coast Regional fleet. The West Coast Regional fleet is not that big, because obviously we don't have a lot of West Coast freight. We do have some, but not a lot of it. So that's probably one of the smaller fleets. And from what I understand, they stay out longer. And it's going to be the 11 western states is what that fleet's going to be. Now, as far as I know, that's what Crete has. They probably have more. They're probably more dedicated fleets. We run a lot of Menards, so I'm sure they got a Menards dedicated. We run a lot of different food products. I'm sure they have some dedicated within those. We run a lot of windows. I'm sure they got dedicated in with that as well. But just to give you a little insight and something, if you've been looking for something to get you closer to home, maybe one of those areas that's closer to where you live, might fit you, might fit what you're looking for, get at them. And give Jessica and recruiting a call. She's pretty good, and she knows me. Just tell her Morgan Buckley sent you over there. She knows who I am. She'll take care of you, and she's pretty honest and straightforward. She'll tell you what them fleets pay, what their home time expectations are, what your mileage expectations are, and all that kind of stuff. She'll have more information on that than I do. Anyway, y'all take it easy. Have a great night. Stay safe. keep trucking.